मेरा नाम है कृतिका और ये है अनुष्का.
Namaste. Okay, so the film we're going to review today is called Lucia. It was written and directed by Pawan Kumar and released in 2013. So, the making of this film took around 1.5 years, which is a very long time, because it was Kannada's first film to be crowdfunded, and they gave around like 50 lakhs for the production of it. Yeah, quite a big amount. So, the plot revolves around this man called Nicky, and he suffers from insomnia. So, essentially, he discovers this pill which enables him to lucid dream. Whoa! Yeah. And the movie essentially follows his experience with this, and it eventually also blurs the lines between reality and fantasy, which is
What?
all, yeah. So within the narrative, there exists a number of themes that have been explored with the help of subplots. Yeah, so the film practically doubles over as like a running social commentary of the Kannada film industry. Because when we looked at the story behind the character of Shankarana, he's the owner of the talkies when he works. Yeah. When we looked at his story, we kind of saw the representation of the socio-political atmosphere of the Kannada and Telugu film industry. So the reason for this is in the film, Shankarana stubbornly refuses to let go of the talkies, even though it's clearly unsuccessful, and like the cinematic experience is popular and fresh and everybody loves it, and it's clearly way more successful. So this kind of brings in the clash of the old versus new with regard to the talkies experience versus the cinematic or multiplex experience. So in terms of the technique, the movie is different with its use of color,
Precise movement, editing, and execution.
so the use of color is also different from mainstream application of these colors. So for instance, the reality sequences are shot in black and white, whereas the dream sequences are shot in color. And this really puts the audience off until the final resolution of the film, where the distinction between the two states becomes more obvious. So the movie also incorporated a lot of complex and quite interesting shots, such as the following. So here a split screen shot was executed, which required intensely precise movements from the actor for a clean finish. The two shots had to be taken separately, and so it was edited using a green screen as well. So overall, as you can see, a number of interesting angles were used for this film. One of our favorites was the swimming pool one. So the film was also remade in Tamil in 2015 by C.V. Kumar. And he owned a production house, and so a lot of money was pumped into the film. It was called Enakul Oruvan. So yeah, now we're going to compare and contrast the two trailers and see what we find. So the very first element that we're going to look at is
Introduction of the hero.
So in Lucia, he's shown to be walking around and speaks about his identity in the bigger picture of Bangalore. So we also get tiny glimpses of his everyday life, such as him washing his clothes and him eating his food. In Enakul Oruvan, the protagonist appears to be comical and generally more laid back in comparison to that of Nikki from Lucia. It's also interesting to note that his introduction in the trailer is clubbed with the introduction of the heroine, which clearly says a lot considering the trailer focuses on what's important and what's not. So essentially, looking at the two trailers, we found that the love angle in Enakul Oruvan was focused upon way more than in Lucia. This can be owed to the fact that it was backed by a huge production house, which clearly meant a lot of things for the filmmaking process. So this brings us to our next point, the fact that Lucia possessed a more artistic and authentic feel in comparison to that of Enakul Oruvan. So we're going to show you two small clips to emphasize this point.
ದಿನ ರಾತ್ರಿ ಮಲಗೋ ಹೊತ್ನಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ನಂತಾಗ
So even the appearance of the drug dealers in both the films was vastly different. This can be owed to what we just mentioned about the production cost, and also we feel that in Lucia, one can see the clear expansion of the director's artistic vision. And due to this, we also got a sense of magical realism, which made the experience more impactful. In the end, we would like to conclude with how the director's vision gets lost in the grander scheme of things, such as money and higher production inputs and interference. In this manner, Lucia is gratefully and thankfully the exception to this rule, and we love that because we love this film and we think you should definitely watch it. So we hope you found this review enlightening. So thank you and stay tuned for more. Good night.
Good night.